Okay, let us begin the class. I think that people didn't join so far. Only. Okay. So let me begin the class. So today's class we are going to discuss about the Jacobi method. Okay. So we'll see that. We'll see the Jacobi method. Okay. And we'll solve some of the standard forms. These are all the two things. And apart from this, we are going to discuss about complete integral. We have already discussed about the complete integral for the n-dimensional case. Okay, n-dimensional case we have seen. But in this class, we are going to do it for the two variables so that you will understand what is it going on. Okay, so same thing generalized for the n-dimensional, which we have already discussed. So let us see the Jacobi method. Already we have discussed about the Chapitz method. Almost similar kind of things only the Jacobi method is going to do. Okay, so this method is again useful for solving the nonlinear PDE of order one variable of order involving three or more than independent variables. Okay, so you can apply this for three or more independent variables, not less than that. So let us see that what is it going to be there. So the basic idea is same as the Chapitz method. Okay, the basic idea is same as Chapitz method, but the different procedure will be little different. Okay, let us have a development of the procedure for three independent variables. Then that can be generalized for the n variables also. You can do that. So let us consider the following first order nonlinear PDE: f of x1, x2, x3, p1, p2, p3, p3 equal to 0. Okay, three variables are there. So here P1 equal to ux1, P2 is equal to ux2, P3 is equal to ux3. So three variables are there that you have. Or I can write it in this way also. X, y, z, ux, uy, uz equal to 0. Okay. So that is the same thing I'm just writing here. Since I'm just going to involve more than two, P, Q, R, etc. will go. So instead of that, I'm just keeping P1, P2, P3. Because that is the one I'm just following here. So that you can generalize for the n-dimensional also. So here note that there is no U involved here. In the Chapitz method, if you remember, I might have written that. Okay, so for the two variables, I might have written that x, y, z, p, q, I might have written. Okay, where z is nothing but u, p is nothing but ux, and q is nothing but uy. But here there is no u involved. Okay, only this one. Only this kind of problem I'm going to solve it. Okay, not for general thing. So first order nonlinear PDEs of x, y, z, or x1, x2, x3, p1, p2, p3. Okay, there is no u involved over here. So the fundamental idea of the Jacobi method is as follows. What you are going to introduce that you are going to introduce two functions, two arbitrary functions. One is called g1 of x1, x2, x3, okay, p1, p2, p3, some arbitrary constant is going to be there a equal to 0, and then g2 of same kind x1, x2, x3, p1, p2, p3, b is going to be there equal to 0. So these two are two arbitrary functions are there that I'm going to involve in terms of this one. So further, this g1 and c2 must satisfy this condition. Dou of f, g1, g2 means the Jacobian which you are going to calculate. Okay, divided by dou b1, p2, p3 should be not equal to 0. This Jacobian should be not equal to 0. Okay, you got to calculate the Jacobian of f, g1, g2. Okay, and that should be not equal to 0. That means what you got to calculate is that you got to calculate dou f by dou p1, dou f by dou p2, dou f by dou p3, dou g by dou p1, dou g1 by dou p2, dou g1 by dou p3, dou g2 by dou p1, dou g2 by dou p2, dou g2 by dou p3. Okay, so this determinant you got to calculate. This should be not equal to 0. That's the meaning of this one. The Jacobian you got to calculate. So now we have the equations 1, 2, 3. Okay, this can be solved for p1, p2, p3. So if you can solve for this p1, p2, p3 and substitute this p1, p2, p3 in the following equation. So if you remember this one, here you might have obtained dz equal to p dx plus q dy in the Chapitz method. Okay, same thing here. So dz equal to you are going to obtain it as p1 dx1 plus p2 dx2. P2 dx2 plus p3 dx3. Okay, this you have to obtain that. Then you are going to obtain the complete integral for the problem. Okay, that is the procedure for this one. So step number 1 is that this is the problem given. Step number 1 is that you got to find your g1, g2, gx1 like this. G2, g1 function and g2 function you got to calculate, and then you got to check whether the Jacobian is not equal to 0. Then you got to solve the problem. As you are having, I will just show that what is the fractions are going to come. So accordingly, you can solve that, and then you can obtain what is your d set. Okay, let us see some problem. Board video is not coming. Okay, let me spotlight. Is it coming now?
Yes.
Okay. So how do we obtain this one? Let us see that. Okay, so let us see that. We got to solve for P1, P2, P3. Okay, so let us see that how to obtain that. Almost similar kind of things we did it in the Charpitz method. Same thing we are going to do. Okay, let us obtain that. So I'm just going to differentiate the f with respect to x1. Okay, and similarly g1 I am just going to differentiate with respect to this one. So I have two things. So g1, x1, x2, x3, p1, p2, p3 equal comma a equal to 0. Similarly, I have g2, x1, x2, x3, p1, p2, p3 comma b equal to 0. Now I'm going to differentiate this one with respect to x1. Okay, so I'm just differentiating this one with respect to x1. Therefore, I'm going to have fx1, okay, plus this one with respect to x1. I got with respect to x1 I got do. So therefore, it is going to be fp1. X1 is going to be there. Okay, fp1 into p1 x1. Okay, p1 suffix x1 actually. P1 suffix x1. Okay, so this meaning is that this is nothing but dou f by dou p1 into dou p1 by dou x1. Okay, this is the meaning of this one. Similarly, I'm going to have fp2 into p2 x2. Okay, sorry, p2 x1. With respect to x1 only I'm differentiating. Similarly, fp3 into p3 x1 is going to be there, equal to 0. Same thing you are going to do for the g also. So in that case, you are going to get gx1, g1 x1, okay, plus g1 p1, p1 x1, plus g1 p2, p2 x1, plus g1 p3, g2 sorry p3 x1. So what we got to do is that we are going to eliminate. Let us eliminate p1 x1 from this one. Then what you are going to get is that I can just write the equation as follows. Okay, after elimination, what I can write it as, I can write this one as f of x1. So I'm just going to multiply by p1 x1 on everywhere. Okay, and then I'm just going to subtract that. Okay, so then what you are going to get is that you are going to get you are going to eliminate that. Therefore, you just multiply by. So this one I got to eliminate. Therefore, this one I got to multiply by g1 p1. This one I got to multiply by fp1. Okay, so this one multiply by g1 p1, and this one I'm going to multiply by fp1, and then subtract it. Then automatically this term is going to cancel. Therefore, what you are going to have is that you are going to have fx1. This one I got to multiply by the g1 p1. So g1 p1 minus this one I got to multiply by fp1. Therefore, it is going to become like fp1 into g1 x1. Okay, so this is going to be ruled out. Only this is going to be there, plus fp2 g1 p1 minus fp1 g1 p2 into p2 x1 is going to be there. Okay, similarly same thing. So fp3 into g1 p1 minus fp1 into g1 p3 into p3 x1 is going to be there. Okay, so what is the meaning of this one? This is nothing but dou of f comma g1. Okay, dou of f comma g1 divided by dou of x1 comma p1. Okay, so you can just check that this is going to be fx1. sorry, this one if I write it as, this is going to be dou f by dou x1, dou f by dou p1, dou g by dou x1, dou g by dou g1 by dou x1, dou g1 by dou p1. So you can see that this determinant is going to be dou f by dou x1 into dou g1 by dou p1, that is there, minus dou f by dou p1 into dou g1 by dou x1, that is there. Okay, this is nothing but same thing. Okay, this definition is this one. Plus I'm going to have similar kind of things. So you are going to get dou f comma g1 divided by, you are going to have dou of x2 comma no, this is going to be p2 p1 is going to be there, p2 comma p1. Okay, because here p2 p1 into p2 of p2 x1, plus similarly this is going to become like dou of f comma g1 divided by dou p3 comma p1. Okay, p3 p1 into p3 of x1 equal to 0 is going to be there. So you got to solve this for now. Let us solve for so same way, what you got to do is that you can just you need to eliminate between these two. Okay, eliminate between these two equations. P2 you got to eliminate. Okay, so if I have to eliminate P2, then here you got to multiply by, you got first you got to differentiate with respect to x2. Therefore, you are going to get fx2, fp2, fp2 into, sorry, fp1 into p1 into x2, fp2 into p2 x2. Okay, etc. is going to come. Similar kind of thing. So this one you got to differentiate with respect to x2, and this one also you got to differentiate with respect to x2, and then you can eliminate p2 x2 you can eliminate. So if you eliminate that, then you are going to get a similar kind of equation. So that equation is going to become like, I'm going to get same kind of things we are going to get. So dou f comma g1 divided by dou x1 comma x2 comma p2 is going to come, because I'm just eliminating p2 x2. So in that case x2 p2 is going to come. Similarly dou f comma g1 divided by dou, so this p2 p1 is that, therefore here it is going to become like p1 p2 plus into p2 x1. Okay, p2 x1 is going to come. P1 x2 is going to come. Okay, p1 x2 is going to come, because I'm just differentiating with respect to x2, right? So it is going to be x2 is going to be there. Similarly dou f by dou f comma g1 divided by dou p3 p2. Okay, so p3 p2 is going to come into, here it is going to become like p3 x2 is going to come equal to 0. Same way for, you can differentiate this with respect to x3 and then eliminate p3 x3 you can eliminate. So that is going to become like dou f comma g1 divided by dou x3 p3 is going to come plus dou f comma g1 divided by, this is going to become like dou p1 p3 into this is going to become like p1 x3 is going to come plus dou f comma g1 divided by dou p2 p3. Okay, p2 p3 into, this is going to become like p2 x3 is going to come equal to 0. Same kind of things. Okay, you can eliminate it. Now we are going to assume that, because what I'm going to assume is that in this one, I'm going to assume that p1 xj, okay, pi xj equal to, I'm just going to assume that pi xj is going to be pj xi. That means what? I'm going to assume that dou p1 by dou x1 is going to be dou p1 by dou p1 by, this is going to be dou x1 for sure. Now dou p1 by dou x2. Okay, if I put, then this is going to be dou p2 by dou x1. Okay, this I'm going to assume that. So dou p1 by dou x2 equal to dou p2 by dou x1. So this is the one which I'm going to assume that. Similarly, dou p1 by dou x3 equal to dou p2 by dou x3. Okay, so if I just put dou p1 by dou x3, that is going to become like dou p3 by dou x1. So this assumption I'm going to make it. Okay, so if I make these assumptions, then what I'm going to have is that then I can just add these terms. Okay, so what will happen is that I'm just going to add these terms everything together, because if I just substitute over here, okay, this p1 x2 etc., then what you are going to have is that p1 x2 is going to become like p2 x1. Okay, p2 x1 is going to be here. So therefore these two are going to be same. Okay, dou f by dou g1, dou p1 by dou p2. Here dou f1 by dou f by dou g1, dou p2 by dou p1 is there. But here p2 x1 and p1 x2. Okay, this one, if you compare this one, okay, just compare this one. So this is going to be p2 x1, this is going to be p1 x2. So I made the assumption that p1 x2, okay, dou p1 by dou x2 equal to dou p2 by dou x1. So these two are same. Okay, these two are same. Therefore, if I compare the question, this is going to be dou f by dou g1, dou p2 by dou p1. Okay, so I have dou f by dou f g1 divided by dou p2 p1 is here. Okay, here what I have, dou f by dou f comma g1 divided by dou p1 p2 is there. The relation between these two is that it is going to differ by minus, because you are just interchanging the rows, right? So if you are interchanging the rows, automatically there is a minus is going to come, which is properties of the determinant. Therefore, in general, if I put pi comma pj, this is going to be pj pa. This is the properties of the determinant. From the properties of the determinant, you are going to get. Since we made this assumption p2 x1 equal to p1 x2, so these two are going to be differed by a minus sign. Therefore, if I add them, what you are going to get is these two are going to get cancelled. Similarly, so this one will get cancelled. Similarly, p3x2 and p2x3. So here also I'm going to give the same assumption. Okay, because I have paxj equal to pjxi. Same thing, these two are equal, and this is going to differ p3 p2 here, p2 p3. Therefore, this is going to be differed by a minus sign. So once I add, these two are going to get cancelled. These two are going to get cancelled. Similarly, p1 x3 here, p3 x1 is there. So these two are equal. p1 p3 here, p3 p1 here. Therefore, these two are going to get cancelled once I add that. So what I'm going to left with is that, so this is because of this property, because of the determinant property, I'm going to have it. So what I'm left with is that once I add that, I'm going to have dou f comma g1 divided by dou x1 comma p1 plus dou f comma g1 divided by dou x2 p2. Okay, x2 p2 plus dou f comma g1 divided by dou x3 p3. Okay, equal to 0 is going to come if I add them, if I add these three terms together. Okay, in the same way, what you can do is that, so this job we did for only f and g1. Similarly, I can do the same job for f comma g2. I can do. Okay, similarly, I can do the same job for g1 comma g2. I can do that. Then what you are going to get is that you are going to get this one. You are going to get another two relations. Okay. So similarly, you are going to get wherever g1 is there, replace g2. So you are going to get dou f comma g2 divided by dou x1 comma p1 plus dou f comma g2 divided by dou x2 comma p2 plus dou f comma g2 divided by dou x3 comma p3 equal to 0 is going to come. Similarly, I got to do for g1 g2. Therefore, it is going to become dou g1 g2 divided by dou x1 p1 plus dou f comma g2, sorry, g1 comma g2 divided by dou x2 comma p2 plus dou g1 g2 divided by dou x3 p3 is going to come. Now equation 14 and 15. Okay, these two equations, if you see that, this is a semilinear PDEs. Okay, I can just write it as a semilinear PDEs of the form. Okay, I can write this one as x1. Okay, fx1. So if I write this one, this I can write as fx1. Okay, this one. Okay, 14 and 15, I can write it in this way. So fx1 into dou g1 by, I'm just writing this one. Okay, fx1 into dou g1 by dou p1 minus dou fp1 into dou g by dou x1. Okay, I'm just writing this one. fp1 into dou g by dou x1. Okay, this is the Jacobian definition. I'm just writing. Similarly, okay, this is going to become like, I'm just going to write it as, this is going to become like fx2 into dou g1 by dou p2 plus minus fp2 into tau g by dou x2, tau g1 by dou x2. Similarly, fx3 tau g1 by dou p3 minus fp3 tau g1 by dou x3. So this is a semi-linear PDE. Okay, this is a semi-linear PDE. So if we see this one, tau g1 by dou p1, etc. So here fx1, fp1, etc. is going to be there. So therefore, this is not going to have any terms of p1. This is not going to have any terms of x1. This is not going to have any terms of p2, etc. is going to be there. Therefore, it's a semi-linear PDEs of this form. Okay, this is going to be a semi-linear PDE. Now, what we are going to do is that we are going to obtain the auxiliary equations for this one. So therefore, what you are going to have is that you are going to have dx1. Okay, the auxiliary equation is going to become like dx1 divided by fp1 minus fp1. Okay, this one equal to dx2. From here, I'm going to get minus fp2. Okay, dx3 divided by minus fp3. Because these are all the, if you obtain the characteristic problem, then you are going to get this one. Okay, dx1 by minus fp1, dx2 by minus fp2, dx3 by minus fp3, which are coefficients of dou g1 by dou x1. Similarly, if I obtain TP1 is going to be the coefficient of dou g1 by dou p1, that is going to be fx1 equal to dp2 here fx2 equal to dp3 divided by fx3. Okay, this is nothing but the characteristic ODE. So if I just take the characteristic ODE, what you are going to get is that you are going to get this tau g1, tau p1, etc. is going to be there, right? That is going to be the characteristic. If you see the direction, that is going to be the direction is going to be fx1, fx2, fx3, minus fp1, minus fp2, minus fp3 is going to come. So you remember this one in the very beginning, almost at the first order semi-linear PDE problem, we have discussed this one. So some ax plus by, okay, aux plus buy problem we have written. So this one we have written as dv of dvu equal to 0 we have written, and then here v is nothing but a comma b we have written. Okay, so this one I can write as r v dot. So this one we have written this one a comma b dot ux uy. Same thing here. What I'm having is that I have fx1, fx1, fx2, fx3, comma fp1, fp2, fp3. Okay, these are all nothing but my v. This I can write as v. Okay, and this ux uy is that is going to be g1 p1. Okay, I can write this dou g1 by dou g1 by dou p1. Okay, dou g2 by dou g1 by dou p2, dou g1 by dou p3, comma dou g1 by dou x1. So here it is going to be minus 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 in this case. Okay, dou g1 by dou x2, dou g1 by dou x3. So this is the characteristic. This is the directional derivative is going to be this one. Then if it is going to be 0, then what you are going to have is that you are going to get that u is equal to constant along that, and you will be getting the characteristic system. That characteristic system is nothing but this one. Okay, this is nothing but that auxiliary equation. This is called the Jacobi auxiliary equation because we derived using this method. So this is called Jacobi method, and that is the reason this is called Jacobi auxiliary equation. The rest of the procedures are similar to what we have it in the Charpitz method. So you got to solve this equation. Okay, dx1 by fp1, dx2 by fp2, etc. You got to solve it for p1, p2, p3. You got to solve it. Okay, so substitute. You got to solve this for p1, p2, p3, and then finally you got to substitute it in this equation. D is equal to p1 dx1 plus b2 dx2 plus p3 dx3. Then you are going to get the answer for this one. Okay, so to apply the Jacobi method, this is the only thing. Okay, that's what we derived. Then you are going to get the complete result. So you can extend this idea further. For n-dimensional also you can extend this. This is for the 3-dimensional we have done. This one you can extend it for the n-dimensional case also. So in that case, what you are going to have is that you are going to have. So in the n-dimensional case, you are going to have. So suppose my problem is f of x1, x2, etc., xn, p1, p2, etc., pn is there. So in that case, similar kind of equation is going to come. So you are going to get dx1 by minus fp1, dx2 by minus fp2, etc., etc., dxn by minus fpn, okay, equal to, you are going to get dp1 by fx1, dp2 by fx2, etc., equal to dpn by fxn is going to come. Okay, this is going to be your Jacobi acceleration equation for n variables. Remaining things as it is, you follow it in the Charpitch method, and then dz is going to become like summation pi dxi. Okay, that is going to be your complete integral. The complete integral is going to be this one. So you got to solve for this p1, p2, pn, and then you got to substitute in the complete integral. So let us see two, three problems. Okay, how to solve that one using this procedure. So this is the equation you got to remember. Okay, so the rest are as we see it in the Charpitch method. So let us see one problem, one or two problems on Jacobi method. So I have a problem p1 square x1, p1 square x1 plus p2 square x2 equal to p3 square x3. Okay, so I can write this equation as p1 square x1 plus p2 square x2 minus p3 square x3 equal to 0. So therefore I got to, this is nothing but my f. Okay, therefore I got to obtain this one. So you are going to get dx1 by fp1. fp1 is going to be minus 2p1 x1. Okay, minus 2p1 x1 equal to dx2 divided by minus 2p2 x2. Okay, you got to differentiate with respect to p2, and then you have dx3 divided by 2p3 x3. There is a minus sign already here, so here already minus, so plus is going to come 2p3 x3 equal to tp1 divided by, so this one you got to differentiate with respect to x1, therefore you are going to get p1 square here equal to dp2 divided by x2, sorry, p2 square with respect to x2 you got to differentiate. This is equal to dx3, sorry, tp3 divided by this with respect to x3 you got to differentiate, therefore you are going to get minus p3 square. Okay, this is the auxiliary equation. Now you got to solve this equation. Okay, so you got to solve this equation. So I can take these two equations, tp1 by tp1 square and tx1 by tp1. Therefore you are going to get dx1 by minus tp1 into x1 equal to tp1 by p1 square. So p1 cancel. Okay, you are going to get one equation. So you are going to get dx1 by minus 2x1 equal to dp1 by p1 is going to come. So you can integrate that. This is going to become like ln p1 equal to minus 2 ln x1 is going to come. So therefore p1 is going to come. P1 is going to be x1 1 by x1 square power minus 2. Okay, so therefore you are going to get p1 is going to become like sorry, this is not minus 2, there is a mistake here. This will be minus 1 by 2. Okay, minus 1 by 2 ln x1, not minus 2. Okay, there is a mistake, there is a typo. Minus 1 by 2 ln x1, therefore it is going to become like some constant is going to come here. So you are going to get a by root x1 is going to come. There is a typo here, it's not minus 2 ln x1, it should be minus 1 by 2 ln x1. So you are going to get a by root x1 is going to come. Similarly, you can solve for these two. So you are going to get p2 is equal to, okay, you are going to get from, if you solve these two equations, you are going to get p2 cancel, minus 1 by 2 x2 is going to come. Similar kind of thing. So you are going to get some a2 by root x2 is going to come. Okay, and if you solve for this one again, minus p3 square p3, so 1 is going to get cancelled. So you are going to get p3 is going to be minus a3 by root x3 is going to come. Okay, so let us substitute these values in this equation. If I substitute that, then what you are going to get is that you are going to get p1 square, so it is going to become like a1 square divided by x1 square is square root of x1, so it is going to be multiplied by square, therefore x1 is going to come, x1 going to cancel, so x1 square into x1 is going to be that, therefore these two are going to become 1. Similarly, you are going to get a2 square into square root of x2, so it is going to be x2 cancel. Similarly, minus a3 square equal to 0. Okay, therefore this is where this is one condition you have. Okay, this one we are going to use it for solving the problem. Now d is at P1, P2 you have found. So you got to substitute it over here. So you got to substitute that a by root x1, sorry, a1 by root x1 into dx1 plus a2 by root x2 into dx2 plus a3 root x3 into dx3, because this is the equation P1 dx1, P2 dx2, P3 dx3. That's what I'm substituting here. Therefore, this is going to become like, I can write as 2 into a1 into square root of x1 plus 2 into a2 into square root of x2 plus 2 into a3 into square root of x3. Okay. Now what I have is that I have that a3 square. Okay, this one, once you integrate, you are going to get one more constant is going to come, because you are integrating on both sides. Okay, so therefore one more constant is going to come. Now what you have is that you are going to have, there is a relation. Okay, a1 square plus a2 square equal to a3 square is going to be there. So this one I can substitute over here. Therefore this can be written as 2a1 root x1 plus 2a2 root x2 plus a3 I can substitute it as 2 into square root of a1 square plus a2 square into square root of x3 plus b is going to come. Okay, so therefore you have three constants. So it is a three variable problem. Okay, therefore three constants would be there. a1, a2, a3, sorry, a1, a2, b is going to be there. Three variables are there. Therefore it is going to be the complete integral. Okay, if it is a complete integral, you should have three variables would be there. Okay, here actually four variables are there: a1, a2, a3, b. Four variables are there. But if it's a complete integral, you should have only three variables. Okay, sorry, three constants should be there. So three parameters I have to make that. Because of this constraint, I'll get the three parameters are going to come. Okay, that you got to be remember. So every time you should have only three. If it is a n variable problem, you should have n parameters only. It should come for the complete integral. Okay, n constants should come or n parameters should come. If you got more than that, then that is not the complete integral. One more problem. Any questions? Any questions? One more problem. So you have P1 cube plus P2 cube plus P3 equal to 1. Okay, this is the problem. So I'm just going to write as -1 equal to 0. So the auxiliary equation, once again, dx1 by, you have to calculate fp1. fp1 is going to be 3p1 square. This is going to be 3p2 square. And this is going to be 1. And this is going to be 0 because no fxn here. This is going to be 0. This is going to be 0. So therefore, what you are going to have, you are going to see what is the answer for this one. So since dp1, I can take anything with this one. Therefore, you are going to get p1 dp1 by 0 equal to, let me take dx1 by 3p1 square. Then you are going to get, this is going to imply dp1 equal to 0 is going to come. Therefore, p1 equal to some a1. Similarly, you are going to get p2 is equal to a2 is going to come. Okay, and p3 is equal to a3 is going to come. You can take any fractions. Okay, then you are going to get this one. So I can substitute it over here. So this is going to become like a1 cube plus a2 cube, sorry, a2 cube minus a3, sorry, plus a3 minus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, a3 can be written as 1 minus a1 cube minus a2 cube. So I can substitute in this one. Okay, I can substitute it in the dz. Okay, so dz is going to become like a1 dx1 plus a2 dx2 plus a3 dx3. Okay, so this is going to become like a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus a3 x3 plus b is going to come because of the integration constant. Now a3 I got to substitute here because already 4 variables are here. Therefore, this is going to become like a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus a3 I can write as 1 minus a1 cube minus a2 cube into x3 plus b is going to come. Okay, this is going to be your a1 cube actually, not the last step. It should be a1 cube, not a1 square. It should be a1 cube. Okay, this is going to be your final answer. So same way you can solve these problems. Find the complete integral of the following PDEs. Okay, I have given some problems for you in the assignment also. That also you can solve it in the similar way. So what you need to do is that you need to concentrate on these two equations. Okay, these two equations you are going to solve it. Okay. So nonlinear PD with two, let us see nonlinear PD with two complete two variables. Okay, some more problems, and then we'll solve. We'll see like what are all the answers we are going to get it. Okay, singular integral and other things we'll see it. Okay, now let us see nonlinear PD with the two variables and complete integral. How are we going to do? So earlier we discussed all the n variables where I have mentioned that there should be the rank. You got to introduce the parameter family a1, a2, an, and then you got to calculate what is dA, dA x1 and dA square x1, etc. And then you got to solve that. And we have seen that the rank of the matrix after the change of transformation, you got to get that rank should be n. Then you will get the complete integral. The same thing we are going to do it here, but with respect to the two variables we are going to do. Okay, so we'll see that. So most general form of the PDE of order 1 is can be written as in the two variable x comma y comma z comma p comma q equal to 0. This is the most general form. Where z is nothing but u of x comma y, p is nothing but ux, q is nothing but uy. Okay, so we are going to obtain the relations between the dependent and independent variables by next few minutes. Okay, so the given PDE, we are going to obtain the relations between this independent variable and dependent variable by solving this PDE. Okay, so that is called the solution or integral of the PDE. Okay, provided this dependent variables and its partial derivative satisfy this PDE. Okay, that should satisfy. So let us see that. Suppose we consider a relation. Suppose there is a relation between, once we solve this problem, we are going to get some relation pi of x comma y comma z comma a comma b. This a comma b is coming because once you put that, you are going to get a comma b as a parameter is going to come, or constants are going to come. So this is going to be some relations you are going to get it. Okay, suppose you got some relations after solving this problem, you got some relations. Okay, consider this relation. You are getting this relation pi of x comma y comma z comma a comma b. So here x, y, z are independent. X, y and z are dependent variable, and a comma b are arbitrary constants. Now, if I differentiate with respect to x and y, what I am going to get is that I am going to get pi x plus pi z into p is going to come. With respect to y, x, if I differentiate, z is a function of u of x comma y. So pi x is going to come. Then z is also a function of x and y. Therefore, you are going to get pi z into ux is going to come. Ux is nothing but p. So pi z into p equal to 0. Similarly, if I do that for the y, we are going to get pi y, pi z into q equal to 0 is going to come. Okay, so there are two arbitrary constants. What you have is that you have two arbitrary constants, but three equations are there here. Okay, so two arbitrary constants which you got to eliminate using the three equations. Okay, so upon eliminating the constant, what you are going to get is that you are going to get the relations. You are going to substitute that, then you are going to get f of x comma y comma z comma p comma q is going to come equal to 0 is going to come. Okay, we'll obtain this relation. Let us see that. So this relation, okay, this relation 24, this equation, okay, this equation is called the solution of the integral of the PD. Okay, this is called the solution of the integral of the PD. So this type of solution, which has as many arbitrary constants as independent variables. There are two arbitrary constants, two independent variables are there, two arbitrary constants are there. Therefore, this is called complete integral. Okay, as many independent variables, as many constants would be there, then that is called complete integral. Okay, so here two independent variables, two constants are there. That is therefore it is called complete integral. So, for example, you can take a simple problem. Z equal to px plus qy. Okay, so in that case, I can simply put z equal to ax plus by. This is going to be the complete integral of the problem. For example, you can just check what is that. So if you calculate p, which is nothing but ux, which is nothing but zx, which is going to be a. Okay, so I can substitute it over here. Similarly, q is going to be uy, zy, that is going to be b. So therefore, wherever p is there, I can replace with a. Wherever q is there, I can replace with b. Therefore, this is going to be the complete integral for this problem. Okay, this is the complete integral for this problem. So in particular, if you choose a particular value, okay, particular values for this arbitrary constant, if you are choosing, then that is called the particular integral of the given PD. For example, in this problem, suppose if I took z equal to 3x plus 2y, then this is going to be the particular solution of the particular integral of the given PD. Okay, this we were discussing from the beginning. So same thing I'm just explaining here also. Now what we got to do is that we got to calculate the singular integral. Okay, this is called, we got obtain the complete integral. Okay, this is the complete integral we got obtained, which is can be given by this one. Now we are going to obtain the singular integral. Okay, singular integral means which is not from this one. You are going to get one more integral for this one. So let us see that. So here we can assume that A and B are constant. So instead of A and B are constant, what I'm going to assume that A is a function of x comma y, and B is a function of x comma y. Suppose if I assume that, then in this equation, if I differentiate, then I'm not only going to get this one, what I'm going to get is that I'm going to get, so instead of this one, so if I differentiate this one, I'm going to get pi x plus pi z into p plus pi a into ax plus pi b into bx equal to 0 is going to come, because a is a function of x comma y, b is a function of x comma y. Similarly, this is going to become like pi y plus pi z q plus pi a ay plus pi b py equal to 0 is going to come. Okay. So if we the forms of p and q will be same as in this equation. Okay. If we have, so this is going to be same thing. So suppose this is going to be there. Okay, this is also going to be satisfied. Then what you are going to get is that these two are going to be 0. These two are going to be 0. Therefore, this is going to be eliminated. Okay, suppose we assume that p and q will be the same as in 25 and 26. These two equations. Then what you are going to get is that these two terms are going to become 0. Therefore, you are going to get pi a ax plus pi b bx equal to 0. Pi a ay plus pi b py equal to 0 is going to come. Okay, so this one I can write it as, in the matrix form I can write it as ax bx ay by into pi a pi b equal to 0 0. So if you assume that rank of the matrix is going to be 2, because 2 independent variables are there, therefore I'm just going to assume that rank of the variable is 2. That means what? The determinant of this one is not equal to 0. Okay, the determinant of this one is not equal to 0 means what you are going to have is that if this is equal to 0, that means it is going to imply that pi a equal to 0 and pi b equal to 0. Because the determinant is not equal to 0, that means pi a equal to 0 and pi b equal to 0 is the only solution, because the determinant is not equal to 0. So pi a equal to 0 and pi b equal to 0 means what you are going to get is that you are going to obtain the values of a and b in terms of the variable. Okay, a and b in terms of the variable you are going to get. Therefore, what you are going to get, the solutions of the solutions are going to be obtained by solving pi a equal to 0 and pi b equal to 0 together with these two things, together with this equation, you are going to get a solution. Okay, that solution is going to be called as a singular integral. Okay, so therefore pi equal to 0, pi a equal to 0 and pi b equal to 0. So if I solve this one and if you obtain a solution for this one, then that solution is going to be called as singular integral. That is called singular integral. Okay. So we have seen the complete integral, we have seen the particular integral, we have seen the singular integral. Next we will see the general integral. Okay. So we have pi of x comma y comma z comma a comma b equal to 0 if the arbitrary constants a and b are functionally related. This one we have already seen in the n-dimensional case. Same thing I'm just repeating here. Suppose we find a relation p equal to psi of a. Okay, if you find a relation p is equal to psi of a, where psi is an arbitrary functions, then what you are going to get is that you can get that you can just multiply this 30, equation 30 means this equation, you can multiply with dx, and this one you can multiply with dy, and then what you are going to get is that you are going to get this one. Okay, these two you are going to get pi a into ax into dx plus pi b into bx into dx, okay, plus pi a into ay into dy plus pi b into by into dy equal to 0 is going to come. I'm just multiplying and then adding it. Okay, so I'm just multiplying and adding it, then you are going to get this one. So this one I can write as pi a into ax dx plus ay dy plus pi b into ax bx dx plus by dy. So this one I can write it as, okay, that equation I can write it as pi a into, so I'll write it here, pi a into dA, okay, ax dx plus ay dy, that definition, pi b into db equal to 0 is going to come. Okay, since b is equal to psi of a, this is going to imply that I'm just going to get db is equal to I'm going to get it as some pi a into dA is going to come. Okay, so b is equal to psi of a, b is equal to psi of a, this is going to imply that dB is equal to pi a dA is going to come, because P is a function of psi a is going to come. So therefore, what you are going to get is that you are just going to get this one as, so dB is equal to pi a dA is going to come. dB is equal to, so this one, okay, B is equal to psi of a means dB is going to become like psi a dA is going to come. Okay, you are going to get psi a dA is going to come. So therefore, this is going to become like pi a into dA plus pi b into psi a into dA is going to come. So therefore, I can write as pi a into pi b psi a into dA equal to 0. Okay, since these two are, if dA equal to 0, a is going to be constant. Okay, but we are just assuming that a is a function of x comma y in this case. So in that case, I can just write this as, I can get this, either this is going to be 0 or this is going to be 0. So this is going to be 0 in this case. Okay, this is going to be 0. Pi a plus pi b into psi a equal to 0 is going to come. So there is a mistake here again. dB is equal to psi a dA, not pi b dA. It should be psi a dA. So from this equation 33, equation number 33 is this one. Okay, from this equation, what you are going to get is that the value of a involving arbitrary function g may be obtained. Okay, from this one you can obtain a value of a. So you can solve that a for a, and then you can obtain an arbitrary function g, okay, which can be obtained. So then b is given by this equation, b equal to psi a. Okay, this is given. So with these two equations, you can just put it in the original equation, and then you can get the values of general integral. Okay, you can obtain an integral that is called the general integral. Okay, so for that one, what you got to solve is that you got to solve for pi of x comma y comma z comma a comma b equal to 0, and then you got to find relation pi b equal to psi of a, and then you got to solve this equation pi a plus pi b into psi a, you got to solve it. Then you are going to get the general integral. Okay, so these two equations. So for singular integral, these two. Okay, for general integral, you got to solve for pi equal to 0, b equal to psi a, and then pi a plus pi b psi a equal to 0. Okay, if you solve for this, then you are going to get that. So let us see one problem. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So let us see one problem. Z equal to ax plus by. So for this equation, we have mentioned that z equal to px plus qy. So z equal to px plus qy. This is the PDE, and this is the complete integral, which we have seen already. Okay, complete integral. Okay. Now, if you see that z equal to y into f of y by x, then this is going to be also a integral of this is also a solution of this problem. Okay, let us see that. So if I calculate ux, which is nothing but zx, which is equal to p, so that is going to be zx equal to, you are going to get y into f dash of y by x into y by x square is going to come. Okay, you are going to get this one. Okay, because with respect to x, you got to differentiate. Similarly, you are going to get q is going to be, you are going to get y into, so with respect to y, you got to do, therefore you are going to get f of y by x. Okay, f of y by x is going to come into, you are going to get with respect to y, okay, plus you are going to get y into f of y by x, you are going to differentiate that, therefore you are going to get f dash of y by x into 1 by x is going to come. Okay, so if I multiply that, what you are going to get is that you are going to get this one. Z is going to become like x, you are multiplying px, this is p, so multiply y by x is going to be that is going to be here. Okay, so that is going to be that. Then you are going to get with respect to q, y you got to multiply, so therefore this is going to be, y is going to be that, therefore you are going to get z into y, f of y by x is going to come, this is going to be z. So therefore z equal to px plus qy is going to be satisfied. So this is called, okay, this is called the another integral, okay, which is completely different from the complete integral. Complete integral is this one. This is completely different from that integral. Okay, so this is the another integral of the PDE, z equal to px plus qy. So without the singular integral and general integral, the complete integral is called as an incomplete solution. So in the general nonlinear PDE, you should not only find the complete integral, you got to calculate what is the singular integral, what is the general integral also. So then only your problem is going to be a complete solution. Otherwise, you are going to get incomplete solution. Okay. So what is the geometrical interpretation? The geometrical interpretation of the problem is that the complete integral is that. So there is a relation between the x comma y comma and z in a surface. Okay. Since it contains arbitrary parameters, as we have mentioned in the earlier case also, it is going to be a double infinite system of surface. Okay, this I have already mentioned in one of the classes. Same thing. Okay, as I have mentioned in the ODE, you are going to have a infinite number of curves are going to come. Here you are going to get infinite number of surfaces are going to come, and that is also going to be varying with two parameters. That is for it is called as double infinite system of surface. Okay, or a single infinite system of family surfaces you are going to get. This is a geometric interpretation. So if we solve that general integral, so general integral geometric interpretation is as follows. So you have an equation pi of x comma y comma z comma a comma b equal to 0 is there. Okay, it's a complete integral for the problem f of x comma y comma z comma p comma q equal to 0. Okay, and the general solution we are going to obtain this way: b equal to psi of a and pi a plus pi b into psi a equal to 0 you are going to obtain that. So here the operation, what you are going to do is that you are going to elimination. You are going to eliminate that. So the operation of elimination, which you did already in the exercise, okay, where you have eliminated this pi z etc. So that is going to be what you are going to say is that you are going to represent a family of the system, okay, using that by eliminating this one, because I'm not going to solve for this one. I'm just going to calculate what is the family of the envelope. Okay, families of the envelope I'm going to solve. So if I solve that, then I'm just going to solve a family of the surfaces I'm going to solve. Okay, so the operation of elimination is equivalent to selection of a representative family. You are going to select a representative family from the system of families of surfaces, and then you are going to find the envelope. Okay, that's what I have explained the previous n-dimensional case also. The same thing is for the two-dimensional case also. So they are going to represent a curve drawn on the surface of the family whose parameters will be E. Okay, that is what we are going to say this P equal to psi of E. The equation which you are obtaining by eliminating A between these, it is called the envelope of the family. Between them is the envelope of the family. So between this, if you just eliminate for A, then that is going to be the envelope of the family. And this characteristic, okay, the curve is called the characteristic of the envelope. And the general integral, which is going to represent the envelope of the family, which is called the combo, which is composed of its characteristics. That's what we have. Now, for the geometric interpretation of the singular integral, what you are going to have pi equal to 0, pi a equal to 0, and pi b equal to 0. So the geometric interpretation for this one is that again you are trying to eliminate that. So the geometric interpretation is that the elimination is equivalent to finding the envelope of all surfaces, which is including the complete integral. Okay, so of all surfaces included in the complete integral. In the complete integral, whatever the surfaces are included, for which I'm just going to find the envelope of all the surfaces. That is the geometric interpretation for this equation, eliminating this a and b, etc. So three equations used in finding these singular integrals are nothing but there is a point of contact is given of the particular surface, which is represented by this pi with the general envelope. So that is the geometric interpretation of this one. The singular integral that is going to represent the general envelope of all the surfaces, including the complete integral. Okay, that is going to be the another representation. Okay, so let me explain the standard form 1, then we'll discuss about the standard form 2 and 3 in the next class. So what we are going to do is that we are going to solve some simple problems, okay, standard form 1 and standard form 2, etc. So there are 4 forms are there. So we'll solve 1 or 2 problems. So suppose a nonlinear PDE is of this type P, f of P comma Q equal to 0. Okay, so let us take a trial solution for this one. Z equal to AX plus BY plus C. Okay, this one we are going to take it. Then you are going to get ZX equal to P equal to A is going to come, ZY equal to Q equal to B is going to come from this one. So therefore, what you are going to get? You are going to get f of A comma B equal to 0 is going to come. If I substitute over here. Okay. So therefore, what is it going to come? This is going to be the solution of this problem. Okay. This is going to be the solution for this problem. F of A comma B equal to 0 is going to be the solution for this problem. So solving for f of A comma B equal to 0 for B, then you can obtain B is equal to f of A. Okay, because it is a implicit relation is that if you calculate b is equal to f of a, then you are going to get the complete integral of this form. So z equal to ax, b is nothing but f of a, so you are going to get f of a into y plus c is going to come. This is going to be the complete integral. Two constants are involved, a and c. Okay, this is going to be the complete integral. So let us see problems. Okay, for singular integral, what we got to do? To find the singular integral for this problem, we got to eliminate a and c from this equation. Okay, and the equations, and you got to use that. So this is the equations we have, and then you got to calculate z a equal to 0, z c equal to 0. You got to use that. From these three equations, you got to eliminate a and c. Okay, so zc equal to 0, you are going to imply that you are going to get 1 equal to 0 is going to come, because zc is going to be 1. So 1 equal to 0 is going to be there, which is not going to be valid. So zc equal to 0, you cannot take it because this is not going to valid for this one. So therefore, there is no singular integral for this problem. Okay, zc equal to 0 is not going to be there. Therefore, no singular integral for this problem. Okay, no singular integral. To find the general integral, what you got to do? You got to write c is equal to psi of a. You got to use it. Okay, so therefore, this is going to become like z equal to ax plus f of a into y plus c is going to be psi of a is going to come. Then you got to use this one for finding what is your pi a plus pi b into psi a. You got to calculate, right? So that means here pi b means pi c. Okay, pi c into psi a, you got to calculate. That is nothing but this one you got to do. So therefore, what you are going to get, differentiate this one with respect to a, you got to get, that is going to become like 0 equal to x plus, with respect to a, you got to do that. Okay, x plus y into f dash of a plus this is going to be psi dash of a. Psi dash of a, not pi dash of a, it should be psi dash of a. So eliminating a from this equation, okay, and this equation, okay, eliminating a between this equation and this equation, you are going to get the general integral. Okay, if you eliminate these two, if between these two integrals, if you eliminate a, then you are going to get the general integral. So let us see one problem, then we will complete. So if pq equal to 2, for this case, one problem, pq equal to 2. So therefore, my f of p comma q, I can write it as pq minus 2. Okay, therefore the solution f of a comma b is going to be ab minus 2. Okay, because wherever p comma q is there, I got to substitute a comma b. Therefore, f of a comma b is going to be ab minus 2 is going to be there. Okay, where z is going to become like ax plus by plus c. Z is going to be ax comma by plus c is going to come. So since ab minus 2 equal to 0, okay, see a comma b equal to 0, bq minus 2 equal to 0, therefore ab minus 2 equal to 0. This is going to imply b is equal to 2 by a. Therefore, I can substitute it over here. Z equal to ax plus b is nothing but 2 by a into y plus c. This is called the complete integral. Okay, this is going to be the complete integral. Now for singular integral, okay, so no singular integral is going to be there. Now for general integral, what you got to do? You got to substitute this one. Therefore, you are going to get 0. Okay, so 0, you are going to get f dash of a is going to be this one. So you are going to get 0 is equal to x plus, so f dash of a, so y into y minus y by minus 2y by a square is going to come. Okay, 1 by a square plus c is going to be some psi dash of a you are going to get, because this is going to be psi of a. So here you are going to get zc into is going to come. So that therefore what you are going to get is that this is going to be some, I'm going to write a psi dash of a you are going to get. Now what you got to do is that you replace this one as psi of a. Now solve these two equations for psi a. Okay, you solve these two equations for a, then you are going to get the answers for psi of a, and you substitute over here, that is going to be the general integral. Okay, so one more problem. One more problem is there. Same as square root of p plus square root of q equal to 1. Okay, same thing. So what you are going to have is that you are going to take, so sorry, that is not the correct one. F of p comma q is not correct one. So square root of p plus square root of q equal to 1. So same way f of p comma q is going to be square root of p plus square root of q minus 1. Okay, this is going to be equal to 0. So therefore f of a comma b is going to become like square root of a plus square root of b minus 1 equal to 0. So you got to solve for b. So therefore b is equal to square root of, so you got to a plus b. So square root of b equal to 1 minus square root of a is going to come. So b is going to become like square root of 1 minus a whole square. Okay, so therefore the complete integral is going to become like z equal to ax plus square root of 1 minus sorry, 1 minus square root of a whole square into y plus c equal to 0. See, this is going to be the complete integral. And then once again, if you want to calculate for, there is no singular integral is going to be there. General integral, what you got to do is the same way you got to do, and then differentiate, and then you got to calculate. Okay, so here it is asked for the complete integral. If you want to calculate the general integral, then you got to solve for psi of a and psi dash of a also. Okay, and then you got to solve that. So these are all the sum of the problems. You can solve it in the similar way. So in the next class, we'll see about the Clairaut's equation, which is going to be another format. Px plus qy equal plus f of p comma q, that we'll see. Similarly, we'll see the standard form 3, which is going to be f of z comma p comma q equal to 0. And then there is a standard form 4. We'll see it in the next class. Standard form 4, that is going to involve f1 of x comma p equal to f2 of y comma q. So these 4 forms we will discuss in the next class. And for other types are that, which I'll just give the idea, but I will not solve the problems. Okay, with this I will stop. Okay. So standard form 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. So with that, the nonlinear PDE part will be completed. Then we'll solve some of the problems for conservation laws, etc. So with this, I will stop. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you. Any questions? Okay, so using this, you can solve many of the problems given in the assignment. Okay, many simple problems are there in the assignment using the standard form, which you can solve it. Maybe some of the questions will be there in the exams using these methods. Okay, thank you. Any questions?